This video was made possible by Wix. If you're ready to create a website, head on over to wix.com/go/infographics2019 to try out one of their premium plans right now. In one corner, we have the United States Amphibious Warriors, proudly proclaiming themselves the first to the fight. American Marines have a rich history of fighting and winning some of the bloodiest battles in history. In the other corner is the ancient saboteur, spy, and assassin, the Japanese ninja. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Infographics shows Who Would Win? Today we're pitting a US Marine up against an ancient ninja, comparing training, weapons, and techniques to decide a victor. The US Marine Corps was founded on the 10th of November 1775 by Captain Samuel Nicholas, who was tasked with raising 2 battalions of combatants who would fight shipboard actions against the vastly superior British fleet. From their infancy, the Corps has been an amphibious and expeditionary force, whose job is to quickly respond to hostile forces and secure a beachhead for the rest of the US military to break through. Sometimes this is quite literal, as the Marines are the primary amphibious force of the US military. With the Army having some but not many amphibious capabilities, this means that Marine units have to be capable of taking hostile beaches and then holding them against typically superior numbers long enough for the Army to land and establish a true foothold. To accomplish this job, the Marines are equipped with everything from landing craft to their own attack helicopters, and even their own Air Force, all meant to support these dangerous and very aggressive operations. Marines undergo 13 weeks of initial training at boot camp, where they learn everything from land navigation to marksmanship, and the fundamentals of the Marine Corps' martial arts program. This aggressive martial arts technique has its foundations in bayonet and close quarters combat techniques, taught all the way back to the days of boarding parties aboard wooden sailing ships. During World War I, those basic techniques were supplemented with unarmed combat techniques, such as boxing, giving American Marines an edge in close quarters trench warfare. Between the 2 world wars, Colonel Anthony J. Biddle pulled together the various training programs under one umbrella and standardized techniques to be taught across the entirety of the Corps, with the fundamentals based on boxing, wrestling, savate, and fencing. During this transitional period, Chinese-American Marines brought their knowledge of Kung Fu into the Corps, which was quickly integrated into the existing training program. In 1956, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Hayward instructed Gunnery Sergeant Bill Miller to develop a new curriculum that could be used by a Marine to quickly kill an enemy while unarmed, whether the Marine weighed 110 or 210 pounds. Miller created a new training program by pulling together various martial arts styles, such as Okinawan karate, judo, taekwondo, wushu, boxing, and jiu-jitsu. This program would go on to evolve into the line system in the early 1980s, as current training was found to be too inflexible in situations that did not require lethal force, such as the peacekeeping operations Marines increasingly found themselves carrying out. This resulted in the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, still in use today, which teaches both lethal and non-lethal self-defense techniques from a wide variety of combat styles from around the world. The MCMAP system focuses on the development of mental, character, and physical discipline, and all Marines are required to achieve a tan belt qualification or entry-level qualification, and infantry Marines must attain at minimum a green belt qualification or a 3rd step qualification. Other combat arms of the Corps must attain a gray belt qualification or 2nd step qualification. Training is ongoing throughout a Marine's enlistment and supplements their continued marksmanship, leadership, and tactics training. The Japanese ninja have their origin in feudal Japan, when competing warlords often hired out ninjas to spy on their enemies or assassinate rivals. Pulling from various martial arts and unifying various techniques into a single discipline, ninjutsu, training differed from clan to clan, and each clan's training techniques and styles were very closely guarded secrets. Typically, ninjas were trained from childhood, with children singled out to continue the clan's tradition based off their physical and mental acuity. Often, the role of a ninja would be passed on from father to son or even daughter, and trained at secret camps deep in the mountains. Because a ninja could find his or herself facing off against a ninja from a rival tribe, the specific techniques and training styles of each clan were kept secret, so that a ninja could always pull off a trick a rival might never expect. While samurai of the time were overglorified brutes for the most part, much like European knights, ninjas were true specialists with a lifelong dedication to perfecting their minds and bodies for the purpose of sabotage, spying, and killing. Ninja training focused on improving speed and agility, with ninjas forced to walk with their bodies leaning forward or to a side so that they would naturally walk quickly in order to maintain their balance. Ninjas also trained to walk with wooden sandals over fresh ice in order to achieve perfect balance and learn how to tread silently. Because of their need to often break into secure fortresses or simply evade foes, great emphasis was placed on learning how to climb quickly and silently, with ninjas learning how to climb both freestyle and with the aid of climbing tools. To improve their jumping prowess, ninjas would often load themselves down with heavy rocks and repeatedly jump up and down, developing the leg muscles to incredible degrees. It was rumored that a trained ninja could leap 7 feet into the air vertically, though that might have been more than a fair bit of exaggeration. Ninjas also placed a strong emphasis on mental training and preparedness. In order to lessen fear and boost self-confidence, ninjas learned a technique called kujikiri, or the creation of magical signs with the fingers, which was meant to assist them with self-control in moments of danger. Not believing the signs to hold any actual magical power, they were merely a mental exercise that helped the ninja calm down and handle stress while in a life-or-death situation. Ninjas also chanted Buddhist sutras in order to remain in control of their emotions, a handy thing for a deadly assassin. Lastly, ninjas trained extensively in the use of various weapons, not just hand-to-hand combat techniques. As such, ninjas were trained to be master swordsmen, bowmen, proficient in a variety of throwing weapons, and expert horsemen. All in all, the ninja was a career professional specializing in mind, body, and soul for only one thing: killing and spying. So who would win in a matchup between the two? Starting off at range, the American Marine is going to bring his trusty M4 carbine to the battle, with the M16 proving to be a bit too unwieldy in close-quarters urban combat. The M4 was quickly adopted as a replacement for the venerable rifle, though it sports many of the same features. The rifle fires a .556 caliber round at 2,900 feet per second, with a max effective range, or range where it can deliver accurate fire, of 600 meters. For ranged combat, the ninja brings the venerable Yumi, or Japanese longbow, to the fight. Made of bamboo, the Yumi was a powerful bow for its time that could deliver an arrow with enough power to penetrate a samurai's armor up to 30 meters and could deliver accurate fire to a max distance of 140 meters. It's clear that at range, the Marine is the clear winner and the ninja has practically zero chance of survival. But what about in hand-to-hand combat? At close quarters, the Marine can wield either a traditional K-bar knife or his trusty E-tool, or entrenching tool. The K-bar is a knife first adopted as a combat knife by the Corps in 1942 and quickly became one of the most iconic pieces of military hardware in the world. The knife typically features a 7-inch carbon steel clip-point blade with a leather-wrapped handle in order to preserve the grip when bloody. The E-tool, on the other hand, is primarily used for the hasty construction of fighting positions and can be used as a shovel or locked into place as a pick. It is also, however, a terrifyingly effective close-quarters weapon, featuring sharpened edges that can easily split a human skull. The E-tool may not be specifically designed to be a hand-to-hand weapon, but like the Marines themselves, is flexible enough to be very deadly when need be. A ninja brings his trusty sword to the fight, which can come in a variety of styles but is typically a 500mm blade that is much shorter than those used by traditional samurai. The reason for the difference in blade length becomes apparent when you consider that ninjas typically expected to fight in very close quarters and inside rooms and hallways, where the shorter blade would be much easier to wield. It was also designed to stab rather than try to cut through several layers of armor, seeking out vital points in the body and bringing very quick death. In close quarters, the ninja has the clear advantage. His sword is not only vastly superior to the K-bar combat knife, but much more wieldy than the Marine's E-tool. While a single blow from the E-tool might split a ninja's skull in half, the superior speed and focus training a ninja has behind the use of her sword would dictate a clear winner. Without weapons, the result would be much the same. The average Marine is better trained in hand-to-hand combat than most members of any other military force. Yet in the end, the ninja is a professional assassin, trained from childhood to master their body as a combat tool. Marines are professional soldiers, but even their training is simply no match for a lifelong dedication to the martial arts. While individual encounters would vary, and there are certainly some American Marines who are world-renowned martial arts experts, on average, a close-quarters fight will always go to the ninja's superior and lifelong training. Plus, as masters of psychology and manipulation, a ninja would simply call a Marine a soldier and kill the Marine while he spent a half hour complaining loudly about how Marines aren't soldiers. This one might have been a tough call, but when it comes to which website builder is best, there's no competing with Wix, and they're here to make sure that your personal site stands up to the competition. Their powerful design tools let you build a site in seconds using fully customizable templates, or you can dive in and build from the ground up. Plus, their subscription services offer 24/7 tech support, and an extensive knowledge base is always available to help you tackle any problems. Try out Wix today by visiting the link in the description or going to wix.com/go/infographics 2019. Who do you think would really win in this epic matchup? Want to see more badass matchups in our Who Would Win series? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video, Godzilla vs. F-35, Who Would Win? Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.